Okay, so I haven't made a video in like 3 months, so this is so much harder than I thought it would be. But today's video is going to be about my experience living in London, house sitting and stuff like that. But I still get a lot of questions on my Snapchat and Instagram about house sitting and which sites I use, so I just thought I'm gonna make a video and answer all of your questions here. I've made a list about stuff I want to talk about, but then halfway through I was like, don't feel like making a list anymore, so I stopped. I hope I won't forget anything. So, if you didn't know, I used to live in London for almost half a year, not quite, but almost. And I didn't rent a place because it's so freaking expensive, so I did house sitting instead. And if you don't know what house sitting is, basically it's when somebody wants to go on holiday but has a pet and needs somebody to look after the pet. They just find somebody on this house sitting website to look after the pet and the house, and in return they can just live there for free, use the TV, the internet, their food for the most part. All of the families where I stayed let me use their like rice and stuff. Obviously you have to buy your own vegetables and fruit, but yeah, you know. Yeah, so that's basically what house sitting is. So I'm gonna talk in this video about which sites I use, the pros and cons, and my tips. So let's start with the sites I used. I'm going to link them below as well. So the first site I used is Trusted House Sitters, and it's £90 a year. And the second site is HOUSESITTERSUK, which is only for the UK obviously. The other website is for all over the world, I think. So yeah, HOUSESITTERSUK is £20 a year. It is much cheaper, but there are not as many people on it, so it's really hard to find a house sit there. I just used both because normally house sitting is used mostly for people who want to travel, because hotels can be really expensive too. And since I wanted to live there, I needed to get as many house sitting jobs as possible. The way I did it, I planned to do it, is I would do house sitting, and if there was a gap for like 5 days, I would come back to Vienna and like go on holiday, or I would just rent an Airbnb or something like that for a few days. But the first lady I did the house sitting for was so nice, and we're really good friends now. She would let me stay with her for a few days in between house sits, so it really worked out for me. I was really lucky. But you cannot rely on something like that, so you have to have a plan B if you want to live in London for an extended period of time and only do house sitting. And you have to be really organized. But I'm gonna get to the tips later. So I used those two house sitting websites, their annual memberships. And before you register for the website, just search the area you want to go to and check if there are any house sits available, because I know in London there are many house sits, but for example, I knew somebody who wanted to go to New York, and I checked if there are any house sits, and there were not that many. So maybe check the area before you register so you don't waste your money. But yeah, so let's talk about the pros. Obviously it's so much cheaper than renting a place, even though you have to pay for the membership, but still it's so much cheaper. You can live in bigger houses than you could ever like afford, and you can use the food, the Wi-Fi, the TV. It's really cool. Also what's really cool is that when you're from abroad you want to see as much of the city as possible, so doing house sit is really cool because you can live in different areas and see much more than just renting a place in one area and staying there. And you can look after really cute pets. I would recommend to look after cats and bunnies or something like that. Dogs can be a little harder, but especially in the beginning you can't be that picky, so you just take whatever you get. Also what's really cool is that you can live in different houses. How do I explain this? This is because every household is different, everything works differently, and it's just really cool to see how people live. So that was definitely a pro as well. And for the cons, let's see. Oh yeah, you have to be really organized, because if you want to stay there and live there, not just for a holiday, but if you want to live there properly, you have to be really organized and have to get as many house sits as possible. So that can be quite challenging. It's not that easy to find a house sit, especially if you're new to the website. If you have a lot of like references and feedback from other users, it's so much easier, but in the beginning it can be really hard. You have to like apply for 100 house sits until you get one. It's really hard. And another con for me personally was that I was too young, or I looked too young. I mean, I was 23 back then, but a lot of people prefer older house sitters because they think they are more reliable, and yeah, so that was a problem for me. It wasn't really a con of house sitting, but it's something that made it a lot harder for me because people wouldn't think that I was trustworthy enough or something. Another con is that some people are quite particular about the pets and the houses. I mean, obviously you're a stranger and they are trusting you with an entire house and their pet, which is mostly their little baby. So some people want to set up a camera in one room so they can check on the animals, and they want pictures every day and like little updates and stuff like that, which is not terrible, but I mean it can be a little bit stressful if you have other stuff to do. But other than that, it's just pros, I would say. I really liked it. My tips for you are you have to upload a lot of pictures on your profile so they can see pictures with animals. Take a lot of pictures with animals. Because they have to see that you are experienced, that you look nice. You have to be really fast. If you see a new house sit, you have to apply right away. Because a lot of people just say, oh, I got so many applications, I just took the first one who applied. Just in general, your profile has to have a lot of information about you, about your experience. The best thing you can do is just get all of the verifications, upload a police check. Stuff like that is really important. Maybe even a video. I didn't do that, but I think that would be a really good idea. If you already live in the city, it's really good to tell them, hey, I would also be willing to meet up before the house sit so we can get to know each other, because many people, obviously, as I said, you're a stranger and they are trusting you with basically their entire life. So meeting the people beforehand can be really important. If you want to live there for an extended period of time, do just short house sits in the beginning. I didn't do that. I right away started with a house sit for 1 month, which is cool because you don't have to move around as much, but if you do shorter house sits in the beginning, you get a lot more reviews on your site, which makes it so much easier to get house sits in the future. So I would definitely start off with short house sits. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think. If you have any more questions, just let me know in the comments below. I will answer all of them. And yeah, if you would like to see a video about my experience in London in general and why I left and what I'm doing now, stuff like that, then let me know and I will film that. Okay, so that's pretty much all the information I have for you. I'm just gonna do a little update right here, but basically I've been back for a little over 2 months now, and I've started my own business, and it's a princess business. Oh my god, isn't this the perfect job for me? I love it so much. But yes, I will see you in my next video. Bye!